Welcome to Getting to Know Mojo. We're on episode 8. My name is Mike
9.
Taylor. We're on episode 8. We're on episode 8.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, because I wrote it down.
2-month anniversary.
Yeah.
What'd you
I
get
was
me?
actually going to say, I was actually going to mention that.
What is that? Like,
So
that's
two-
a
2
straw,
months, 2 months anniversary.
straw jubilee. I looked up those things
Did they
quite a
actually
while
have
ago. They
names
do
for
have,
them?
they do have names
Uh-huh.
for them, yeah.
Maybe it's the table.
It's not. They name it after things, Mike. They don't make.
Yeah,
name it
tables
after,
are things.
No. Things you make stuff out of. Like
Fine, wood.
maybe,
Cardboard.
it might be the wood. I don't know. But like the shitter ones are like straw anniversary, silk anniversary, opal, and then if you become a dinosaur, then you get like diamond and stuff like that.
Right.
You don't get what you don't get is you don't get metallic arephia, which really annoys me because it exists.
Uh-huh. Well, anyway, my name is Mike Taylor, and my lovable co-host, as always, is John Rogers. Apart from that one time when it wasn't.
When it was, and we
Yeah.
all loved that episode. I loved that episode. I thought it was great. I love Finland.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yo.
So, what have you been up to this week? Oh, first, I don't know if it comes through particularly well on the microphone, but
It
my
does.
my voice is a little shot this week. I was quite drunk last night, and we were doing screamo versions of Motown songs, which
That sounds interesting.
seemed funny at the time.
But in hindsight, it's
Well, in hindsight, there was a lot of pain.
yeah.
Like, this
See,
is as loud as
The
my
annoying
voice
thing
goes.
is that you kind of sound a bit like me.
Oh, really?
Mm.
I was speaking to one of my flatmates, Max.
And he was
and
like, "You got what I need." And you did that in screamo.
and I've been told my screamo was actually pretty good. Right?
You
He said-
got
he said
what I
if wanted it to be
need.
good, then it could.
I couldn't do screamo.
No.
No, I think I would just. That would just wreck my vocal cords. I
Oh,
can't really do
man,
a voice
like-
for very long because it starts to hurt. Like,
Yeah.
do you know the pirate accent?
Yar.
I can't do that for very long because it just
Yeah.
tears apart my vocal
Really?
cords. Yeah, I
Mm.
can't do.
See.
Well, I
You
can
have
do
rea-
it,
You
but
have
it
a
really
really deep
hurts.
voice. Like,
Yeah, I know, but then after a while, it goes,
Yeah.
it just really fucks that bit. I don't know what that bit's called.
Here. Yeah.
The
It's not your larynx. No.
lung shield.
Lung shield.
Yeah, lung shield.
It's-
It's a
yeah.
good name for a screamo
Well,
band. Just saying.
Well, actually, speaking of like weirdly named body parts, right? One of my favorite words in German is the word for wrist. It's just hand ankle.
Handankor.
Yeah, like that's the translation is hand ankle.
Okay.
Like, so that's what they call them.
Such a cultured people.
Yeah,
I was looking up stuff about Germany
word,
yesterday.
their word for ambulance is Krankenwagen. Just
I wish it was something like much more grimmer like that. It's like, oh, here comes the Bratwurst wagon, and it's like, wait, what? Yeah, Bratwurst people.
Yeah, when you die, you get turned into
You turn
schnitzel.
you into Bratwurst.
Technically, really, you'd get made into sauerkraut.
Whatever. I don't know. Why?
Like-
Why'd you get made in sauerkraut? Sauerkraut's a paste, isn't it?
Exactly. You
Good
you
point.
pasted
No, if you're a
out.
motorcyclist, you get turned into sauerkraut. Everyone else is a Bratwurst.
Oh well, there we go then. That's the judgment so far.
I like.
You like sauerkraut?
No, I hate
No?
sauerkraut.
Okay,
I like
no, I've
motorcyclists.
never met anyone who likes sauerkraut.
Probably people that eat it do.
No, but I mean, like, I genuinely have not met anyone.
To
It's like
be-
I've never met anyone who's had a deep fried Mars bar.
I have.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I don't know. I didn't eat it.
You didn't eat it.
I didn't have one. I know someone that eats them.
Oh,
I'm
well,
not
that's
eating that fucking
that's not-
thing.
Yeah, that'd probably kill you.
No,
You're
I
so
wouldn't
healthy.
kill you. I don't think it would taste very good.
I don't know. I imagine it being pretty good.
I don't because what's the thing inside a Mars bar?
Nugget and
Is it
caramel.
nougat?
Yeah.
Right, that would just melt, right? Deep
Yeah, but
frying
it's
it,
in
it's just
batter.
gonna.
It's in batter, so it's like,
Ugh.
yeah.
No way. Alex wants to
I
try
have
one.
I have had pizza crunch though.
What's pizza
which is
crunch?
like a deep fried pizza.
I've did that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good actually.
It was good.
Do they
but I
fold it?
couldn't- No, it wasn't. It was just a slice,
In Medlin, they take a big pizza, they just
Right.
fold it in half,
like a calzone.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
dunk it inside the thing
That's
for a
awesome.
couple minutes to get it's great.
Yeah.
But you do when you finish eating it, kind of just look at yourself and go, "What did I eat?"
Oh,
Because me and Mikey would
fuck.
get it, and
Yeah.
along with something else,
Oh.
and I kind of wish there was places that do them here as well as in Medlin. Because this
Mhm.
warrior diet is kicking my ass on how much I have to eat in like a couple hours.
Yeah.
If I had that solved. Just all my calories, all my everything in 1 minute.
One meal, yeah.
Instead of having to make like
Well,
3 different meals.
I remember when I still worked for McDonald's, like you can have your entire day's worth of calories in one meal.
What, when you're working?
No, like as a well, I mean, I suppose you could if you like they let you take it, but like something like if you got a Big Tasty with bacon, that's like 1,200 calories. 1,200.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then you get like a banana milkshake, which is 600 calories.
Is it?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And then chips is like 500-600.
Right, because I read this nutritionist.
So that's like 2,300.
This is like an old ass article. It's not even an article. It's just like a little essay thing. Yeah. This nutritionist was arguing that the double cheeseburger is like the most nutritious thing you can get for that amount of money.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I can't remember if it was last week.
Yeah, I still kind of buy it. It's a good little argument, but at the same time, actually no, fuck it. If my entire diet was just double cheeseburgers,
I doubt it would be too great.
Well, it's the bun that throws you off, though.
If it was only double cheeseburgers, like I'm sure it's part of like a balanced diet. And you could really argue
I think it was an economic
thing
of like what you get for that money is the most nutritious thing you could eat for that.
For £1.50, it's the most nutritious.
It's the most nutritious thing you can buy, but it's the bun that throws me off because the bun's mostly sugar.
Yeah, well, it would be.
That kind of bothers me. But then a real bun would be stupid. Why would you use a real bun?
Well, that would cost more.
Exactly.
So going back to it being our 2-month anniversary of broadcasting, right? I wrote down some interesting analytics that YouTube gave me.
Oh, I wrote down 3 things I kind of want to talk about.
Okay, right. So, well, would you like to go first? Or
no. This is like, you go first.
So, Australia no longer support us.
Why did that happen?
But 78% of our viewership is in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably pander more.
Probably.
Well, good for them that I'm pandering with what I want to talk about. Why do you think Australia left? It was at the Finlay there's why. Finlay Connor's a notorious Australian racist.
Yeah. But we also have picked up Egyptian viewers.
See, that annoys me because I love Mel Gibson. He's Australian.
Okay, yeah, we have picked up Egyptian viewers.
I like Omar Sharif, so we can pander to them as well.
Lithuanians, 2 Lithuanian viewers.
We might be in trouble.
Right, and a Belgian.
A Belgian.
One Belgian.
Right.
Sat and listened to
I don't know
40 minutes.
Has listened to hatingly listened to you.
Maybe,
like Belgium.
Maybe.
But now you have started to pander to Belgium.
Maybe there'll be like a called for, or like, crusade called against me.
Well, I could ask my friend Elena. She speaks Belgian because she's from Belgium.
Belgians don't they speak French?
I don't fucking know.
I remember hearing that half the country speaks French and half the country speaks German.
Well,
that might be Switzerland.
I'm going to assume they're different.
No, they speak Swiss. Right.
Poirot.
Each
time people go, Poirot, you're French. He goes, no, monsieur, I was from Belgium. And then they go, well, you know what? Wherever you go, people die. So get in the wagon. Get in the Bratwurst wagon.
Okay, and all of the viewers that we do have, right?
Listeners, we don't have viewers.
Oh, listeners.
Kind of.
Right, sorry. Yeah, you're right, though, listeners.
We need iTunes more.
All the Mojoans, right? 71% of them are female.
How do you know they're female?
Because that's what Google says.
I don't trust Google.
Well, YouTube.
I don't trust YouTube even more.
I know, they have a pretty good sense because people...
Is it from their history?
No, most people have a Google Plus account registered to their YouTube.
See, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't like.
But then
they
have like other ways. Like I was told that Google can.
It tracks what you look up.
Yeah, it tracks what you look up, when you look it up, where you are when you look it up.
See, I made that problem. I did a stupid for a funny.
Stupid for a funny.
Stacey's not been feeling very well.
I've heard. And
she called me because her breathing was all shitty. And I was like, it's alright, fine. And to be honest, I kind of wanted to see somebody die. So again.
Okay. Wow.
So I went to Stacey's and she's not well, but she wasn't like, I thought she was having a seizure or something else.
Wow. Right.
She was fine though. Other than coughing every couple of minutes, she was fine.
Yeah.
And I was on my iPod just looking up stuff because we were talking about trackies that say juicy on the ass. because I really like them. And I remember one time
Why do you really like them?
Oh, come on, man! Like, say fucking big ass that says juicy. That's just the best. Because one time I was up on bar and I saw this girl at the snacks counter, and she had one of those pairs, but I couldn't quite see, because I saw the juicy and I was like, oh god, killing myself laughing. Funniest thing I'd seen. And I like that anyway. As a joke, they're a great visual thing to just look at. Big juicy ass. It's great. And then underneath it was written something else, and I was like, what the fuck does that say? And I couldn't see, so I was squinting trying to see it. And then I was like, does that say country? Yeah, it must say juicy country.
Juicy country.
And that just blew me off even more. I thought that was so funny.
Wow.
And then Louise came up and was just like, and I told her, because she was like, do you want to go climbing? I was like, yeah, but let me tell you about this ass first. And then it's a juicy country. And she went, is it not couture? Because she's Irish. And I was like, no, it says country. And yeah, juicy couture is what I saw. But I thought somebody had like a rip-off version of that said Juicy Country. And now I really want them. So I looked them up on...
You should go for it.
I've been looking up on... I looked up on Google like where to buy Juicy Couture stuff. And now all of my like advertising things is just Juicy Couture. And it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But it's also spooky. Because now I think they're tracking me. And I don't like that. I really... Yeah. It's got me all paranoid.
But yeah, so I'm sure Google has their ways.
They do, which is why I'm not very active on anything.
On anything.
Not
See,
really.
I spend far too much time on the internet. It's far too much.
Alright.
Yeah.
Depends what you're looking at. Like if you, what are you looking at?
Mostly Reddit. Like.
Okay, well, what specifically? Because since you introduced me to Reddit, I have researched a Reddit.
A Reddit.
There's subreddits which are about specific things.
Yeah.
So what one are you on?
Oh, dude, I've subscribed to so many.
So you subscribe to them as well?
Well, yeah, that way it all comes up on your feed.
Okay.
Like your front page, right? So you get all the stuff that you could possibly be interested in on the front page.
All right. What were you interested?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, a really good one. I think its default is share our thoughts. It's funny. Like offensive wallpapers. That's where people try to hide, like swear words or like stupid quotes into like nice scenery. So there was
That's
like
clever,
like those like hipster wallpapers where it's like it's a picture of a forest and it's like, oh, be anything you want to be.
Wait, hold on. When you're saying wallpapers, do you mean
like
the thing at the back of your computer?
Yeah, for your desktop.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so it's like, it could be like a picture of a forest and the quote would be like, oh, the wisest man knows he knows nothing, or something like that, right? And then, yeah, right. And it like is
the wisest man knows dick. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, like some fucking Charles Bukowski quote, right? And
Bukowski.
Yeah,
where's my fucking money, Bukowski?
The man butchered by modern hipsters. Anyway, and they spin on that, and it's stuff like, the greatest feeling I've ever had is with a dick up my ass, and like some porn star, or just you will never amount to anything. It's so funny. But other subreddits I like, Detroit Lions.
What's that?
Detroit Lions. They're an American football team.
Oh, okay.
So
they're not the Arizona Steelmongers. I don't know how American soccer works.
Is there a team called that?
I don't fucking know. Steelmonger would be a good name for a team.
Steelmongers.
Yeah. They just mong for steel. Like, well, that's such a strange way of saying
the high school that I went to, they were the Wildcats. Yeah, which was the most common team name.
Yeah, there's a good joke in The Simpsons about that.
Is there?
Yeah, it's when they're doing what do they call it? They call it Pee-wee football, I think, when it's elementary, right?
Yeah.
And the Simpsons Springfield, it's like, who are we? The Wildcats. Who are we going to beat? The Wildcats, because they're fighting the Shelby Wildcats. Right. That would be the most common name, I think.
Yeah.
Because this is so lame. This is like how shitty pop culture infects real, actual stuff. I think there's a college football team in America called the Spartans. There is, yeah. And that's they have
UCLA.
Is it? Well, they have just like totally adopted every bullshit thing from 300, and you go, really? Why? Fuck's wrong with you idiots?
Oh, it's not. They're not Spartans. They're Trojans. They're the UCLA
No,
Trojans.
okay, but there is a team called the Spartans.
Yeah, okay. I was me that was wrong.
Yeah, that's usual.
Just say it, right? Just say it. I don't have to take it back next week, right? Take it back right now.
No retractions.
Yeah. So
I've got a question for you because you actually spent time in America and I didn't look it up myself. How old are you when you're in the 5th grade?
10, 11.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know. I think some states start at 6.
South Carolina, what's the 5th grade?
11, I think.
11. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. What?
Right. First thing I'll kind of talk about happened in South Carolina.
Oh.
In Clinton, South Carolina.
Are we on news? Because I wrote a news story down as well.
I wrote two and a half news stories. This is one of them. A father, Ed Robinson, is upset at his 5th grade son's homework because he was assigned to draw a wanted poster for a terrorist organisation. And this terrorist organisation happened to be the Ku Klux Klan.
Right. And his dad a member?
No. His dad's not a member. He's not a racist or anything.
Right.
But he's like just shocked at it. He's like, that's a bit hardcore. And I read 5th grade.
Well, for an 11.
No. I don't think it's hardcore at all. Because if you're an American kid who's 11 now,
yeah,
you'll have blown away countless Russians and Arabs on Call of Duty and shit like that. So
yeah,
I think he wouldn't have had the same reaction.
I don't think video games teach you to hate someone.
Okay, hold on. What's wrong with hating a terrorist?
No,
because
like
this
maybe
dad,
that's why he's upset. I don't know.
This dad wouldn't have had a problem if the wanted poster was like Al Qaeda or ISIS. He wouldn't. I can't imagine. No, but I imagine he would not have the same problem. Because he's saying teaching kids about terrorists in such like a heated environment already is bad enough. It's like, well, your entire culture is based around fear anyway. Like, that kid can't watch anything without being told terror watch.
That's true.
So what's wrong with teaching him that?
Well, that's sort of similar to what we were you there for the terrorism training?
Yeah.
We did terrorism training at the cinema that we can't say the name of.
We can as soon as I get around to.
We can, but
no, we can as soon as I get around to getting officially sponsored by Steve.
And it was informative, but
no, it wasn't. Not really. It was also weirdly right wing.
It was. It really was. But it just sort of like, are they wearing a jacket? They're a terrorist.
That's not what I...
Have they left a package? They're a terrorist.
That's not what I liked.
Do you not know who they are? They're a terrorist.
I have a quick retraction, but I will go back to this terrorism video. Okay. Last week's recording, the last 3 minutes of it are static.
Oh, really?
It's when I'm speaking and it's just all garbled.
Oh.
So I don't know. You might have a look at it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the terrorism video, the bit I liked the most about it though, because it was comedy really, was the bin man, who at the end he's talking to his boss and he's going, you know I was in the right though. He's calling our boys baby killers, and you know what I say about students. And you're like, wait a minute, the fuck, like, and it's one of the things was, like, a warning sign for a terrorist is like university students.
Really?
Like, espousing like radical beliefs, and you're like, I don't think peace is a radical belief. It's a bit gay, but it's not radical.
Well, no, I would say
I want a copy of that.
Almost entirely unjustified hate for anyone, right? Any group, you know, like it's probably gonna shoot off alarm bells.
But it wasn't even the unjustified group. The thing that caught onto it was they went, oh, he never mentioned he was a student. He never mentioned he went travelling. It seems everything that you should be doing to grow as a person is being targeted by the UK government as possible terrorist activity. Yeah. And guess what?
But then it's like, I don't think if an employer was ever like, oh, why did you not mention that that you went travelling? I'm like, well, it doesn't sound relevant.
Your business, that's why.
Yeah, like, I have a private life, you know, like, I'm not going to build a bomb.
The thing that she should have been warned about in the video is when, because he was a terrorist, the student was a terrorist, so it's okay to hate him, is when he's getting in a fight with the other guy and he's going, you know, I wanted to work there. It's like, why do you give a fuck where you work, man? You're a bin man. Who gives a shit? Yeah. It's literally the best
their
job.
bins would be the same as almost anyone else's.
But he really wanted to work at that arcade. He really wanted to work at that shopping arcade.
Almost
bells should have been ringing going, nobody wants to collect bins that much.
I don't want to work on certain departments.
Yeah, but you wouldn't blow people up over it, Mike.
Wouldn't I?
I don't know, would you?
No, probably not.
I would. Essentially, I essentially took part in terrorist actions at work.
Wow.
That's the only way to
Wow.
describe my customer service. I
Wow.
hate snacks.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just take
So
it on
that's
everybody here.
Pretty grim. Just engaging in one-to-one with customers all day can be quite difficult. Like,
Depends on your customers, really. I think
yeah,
because it's
you have,
a
like, I think you
service
have one
job,
customer that's bad, and
you
then
kind of just throw your whole day off.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah.
like the argument of going, you need to like let that go. Like, no, you can't let that go, because if you're gonna say that, it's like, look, if someone's been addicted, you just get over it. You can't then say the exact same thing for be happy all day. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
feel like being happy. Well, you
Yeah.
have to be. Like, no, like if I was in the mood, then great, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Ever.
So you just need to do what I do and nail the fake smile.
I don't need to do anything. I've got the perfect situation right now. I could be as moody as I want. Nobody does
That's true.
anything.
That is true. That is true. You get away with far more than I ever do.
I get away with stuff that, like, not even terrorists would get away with, and they get away with a lot. They get to work where they want. They get to espouse so much radical
Yeah.
beliefs.
They get to work in the sun as well.
They
you
do.
know?
Lucky terrorists.
Yeah, tropical climates.
They get to play with pipe bombs. They get those. If you're an IRA terrorist, you get that sexy accent that lyric girls just go weak at the knees for.
I would say that the Scottish accent is nearly as popular. Nearly.
Well,
Well, not in Scotland, obviously. But
see,
like,
that's what I think. You're probably
see,
right.
We can pose this to our American viewers, right?
Who are 78%?
78% of our viewers, right? Which do you prefer, the Scottish accent, like us,
I don't
or
really
the
have a
Irish?
Scottish
But then there are
accent.
multiple Scottish and multiple Irish accents.
True.
So,
Here's the thing. I've asked people what the worst accent for Scotland is, and it's always the stereotypical Ned one.
hey, pure Ken man.
Yeah, and they're like, well, that's East End of Glasgow, and you've never been there.
Yeah.
But then they say, I've heard it up here. And you're like, kind of. You've heard something threatening and mixed
Yeah.
up the two.
Yeah,
But I don't-
Maastricht accent.
I don't really like the Scottish accent that much. But I don't really like Scottish
It
people.
depends.
So.
It depends. Like, it depends on the person. Like all accents.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Well, I
like,
don't have an accent, really.
A wee bit.
No, you can tell where I'm from.
Yeah.
But it's not regioned anywhere.
See, I've been told.
Which I've
that-
worked on, by the way. Since I was a little
Yeah.
kid, I was like, I don't want to have an accent.
Really.
hmm
Yeah.
As a little kid,
Um,
I apparently sounded like this weird Italian
Yeah.
prime minister.
Well, I didn't. Until I went to America, I never thought I had an accent.
And then you
ever.
noticed it.
No, and then it was pointed out, and then I came home, and everyone was like, "Oh, you speak with like a southern twang."
And then you go, where do I belong?
Yeah, and then and then I moved up here, and my accent just like really kicked in.
Could be
Like, it
worse.
got on a lot
People who
stronger
are
since I
from
moved up
countries
here.
that nobody knows exist, they get lumped as Australian or from New Zealand. So there you go.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I remember there was one time I was in the kitchen with my one of the family members that I stayed with. I was like, "Oh, hey, could you pass me the butter?" And she was
Butter?
like, pass you what? And I had two fucking slices of bread in my hand.
She
Like,
should have
what
just
the
figured it out.
No, but like it's not fucking difficult, right? And I was like, "Yeah, can you pass me the butter?" And she's like, I don't know what the butter
What she
is."
talking about, footy fur.
And she,
It's not a South Carolina
It's like
accent.
the butter, you know, for bread. And she was like, what?
Spread milk.
She was like, "What?" I don't know what butter.
I don't
is.
know what you said.
But yeah, and then people used to get me to say 33 all the time
Why?
because Americans say
33.
it different. Yeah.
How do they say it?
30.
30? 30.
Yeah, with like a D instead of
30?
a T. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. And then they
30.
say Barry instead of Barry.
I've heard you about this bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's just it's weird. It's weird.
it's weird.
It's just weird. It's wrong.
It's wrong.
But it's like they would get on to me. They'd be like, "Oh, you've got to say like the T in glitter, right?"
Well, how do you say glitter?
I say glitter, right?
Glitter. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, we don't pronounce the T's.
We don't.
We're
No.
broken.
This is a big moment for you where you find out that you do have an accent.
No, it's where I found out I'm retarded. Nobody likes to find out they're retarded.
But then, like, they would be like, yeah. So they'd be like, "Oh, you have to
Glitter.
pronounce the T," and then they would say like, "Oh, can I get a glass of water?" And it's like,
And you're going, what you talking about, man? You want some water?
yeah, fuck. What are you on about?
you've got to use your wits. Wit? Aye, wits.
It's just like
Why you
the
talking?
Doric guy in Brave, man. Like, I love being able to understand what he says.
I didn't know what you were saying. When I saw Brave, I didn't really get. I now know what you're saying.
Yeah, I've forgotten because he says something like, "Oh, if everyone fighting over this loss is stupid," basically.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it for the first time and being like, "I get it."
You're not clever.
I get it, because it was after I moved up to Aberdeen. That's what. So.
Aberdeen.
Oh, Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, man.
Sissy Aberdeen.
What?
Aberdeen.
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 I never thought I'd live in Aberdeen.
No. You know what? Until I moved up here, I'd never been.
Me either.
I just had absolutely no interest in it.
First time I was up here was to have a look at the campus.
Yeah.
Got lost, saw
The
a couple
first time
Neds
I was
set
up
fire
here,
to a car.
The first place that I like housing that I entered was Woolman Hill Halls.
That was the same
which
for
is
me.
Grim.
Not
Which is
Woolman
grim,
Hill.
but it was Halls.
My halls. I can't remember what it's called though.
Oh.
See, is it? Fuck, I can't remember where I used to live. There you go.
Yeah.
I lived in a halls.
You lived in a halls in student accommodation.
Yeah, my first time up here, I went to the like touristy information bit beside the view.
Oh yeah.
And I just went, where the hell's Aberdeen Uni? And they could have just walk straight line that way,
Yeah.
and you'll eventually find it. Because now I can remember wandering about, and I walked past that uni like 6 or 7 times, and I ended up in Frog Hall. And
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, well, Frog Hall's, it's not awful, but it's also clearly not the best place in the world.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of laughing. I was like, it's a charming place called Frog Hall. So then I really lost my shit when I ended up on Jamaica Street. And I was like, this is the best place ever. This is Oz. This is the best place in the world. And then I saw these 2 Neds go, "Hi man," they popped this Volkswagen Bug's tires and set fire to it. I couldn't really intervene because it was done. And I was lost, so I didn't even know where to leave their bodies. So I just kept walking until I found the uni, and then I found this similarly
2 youths just set fire to a Volkswagen. Help.
Volkswagen Bug.
Wow.
And then I finally saw a big mirror, which is essentially Aberdeen Library, the uni library, and I was like, that looks lame enough to be a uni building. So I walked to that, and then I found just this tour group, and I was like, because I was on time.
Right.
Because I left. I knew I was going to get lost.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Hi, I don't really know what I'm doing." And then they found my name and they said, "Oh, go to that building, find this door," and that's it. And I just went because I didn't know Aberdeen. I just wanted to wander about. Because the first girl I asked out up here, I got her number the night before when Aberdeen Uni still had a union, and I then got like a phone call from the next day asking if we were still on. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But then I text her and go, I'm not being rude. I've no idea what you look like. And then it was funny. She took it well.
She took it
really well. And then I was like, I don't know my way around. Do you want to just wander about? And I did that. I think that's the best advice for anywhere new. Just wander about. Because I've got a really good sense of direction. I'll find my way back.
There are people that I know that have lived here for like 3 years and couldn't find anything.
I hate that. Because I know where stuff is.
Yeah, it's just like, I maybe don't know street names.
No, I don't know street names.
But
I know
then I could
things
get from A to B.
Like
to A effectively.
I delivered some post 2 days ago to Union Grove, and I knew about where Union Grove was.
Yeah.
And now I can go there no problem.
Yeah.
I could find. I remember a lot of places. That's
yeah.
I could. Yeah, because I remember.
Just going around, you like sort of I forget what it's called, but there is a word for it that you like map the area that you're in just by walking around it.
Oh right, yeah. I know.
Like
that.
not like actively taking in information, just by doing the process, you take that information in.
And it stays with you. That's the weird thing. I could probably dump you in South Carolina where you lived, and you'd still find your way around.
Probably, but it was all roads, so.
That's right.
Like I could get from where I went to school to home.
You could remember
to home, like quotation marks, but where.
Could you remember
where
all the places that Brother Hogan drove you to the other side of the road, and he was like, "I'm going to show you something now, Mike." And it was all the exact same thing.
There was less of that.
There's less of that.
There was less of that.
More of that, Brother Hogan. Less of the other stuff. Less of the pizza parties.
Cool. They were cool. They were cool.
I know you've told me that. I'm not like.
I just have to.
You're
say
very
it.
defensive.
I am. I've got a special
What?
place. In
Other
my
than your mum and Mormons, what else are you defensive about?
heart. I get really the reason that I don't like Melissa McCarthy and Rebel Wilson. I know. I knew we would disagree on this at some point, but the reason I don't like them is because they make like not just passing jokes, constant references to like they're almost their entire humor is based around how overweight they are.
Oh, I disagree with you, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, well,
That's,
maybe less so for Melissa McCarthy.
No.
But
You're,
definitely
you're
Rebel
totally
Wilson.
right. But there's a great video called. I don't even fucking remember.
If
what
you
it's
bring
called.
up dear fat people.
I'm not going to. It's a YouTube channel called Every Frame of Painting.
Right.
And
Oh yeah.
Mark
yeah.
told me about it, and Lewis tried to blow my mind the other day by sending me. I was like, "Bitch, who do you think you're talking to?" And he's got a really good one about the difference between. He uses Edgar Wright because Edgar Wright's kind of just the best one to describe it as like good comedy, bad comedy, and he's not saying that certain American comedies are bad, even though they do have problems, but they're not really comedies. They're long scenes of improv where the jokes are mostly verbal, whereas Edgar Wright sets up a lot of visual stuff and a lot of referential while being verbal. Whereas if you watch something like Bridesmaids, which was all right, it's perfectly like reasonable, a film.
Like, as a disclaimer, I have not seen Bridesmaids, but I have seen Rebel. Like I watched a video that was like every Rebel Wilson fat joke in Bridesmaids.
Well, that kind of still works anyway,
because it was like
they're
upwards
verbal.
of 4 minutes.
They're mostly what me and you're doing right now, which is just talking. They're not doing anything funny. They're just riffing on this thing. Because there is an admittedly hilarious outtake of Bridesmaids where Kristen Wiig is just like slaughtering this 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's funny as hell, but it's also just it's very improv. It's just a lot of, well, here's something and we'll just keep going and going.
Yeah.
And that's not really comedy in a big way. So that video explains it way better than I am.
It's not the same comedy.
Well, it's not imaginative because it doesn't allow your comedy directors to grow as much. I don't like Paul Feig. He's kind of
What did he direct?
He did Bridesmaids, Spy. Anything Melissa McCarthy is him because Melissa McCarthy got famous from Bridesmaids, like in a big bad way. She got the Academy Award nomination for it.
Was Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids?
She's the one that got the supporting Best Actress nomination for it.
Oh, did she? I thought it was Rebel Wilson.
No, she's in Bridesmaids though.
Right. Okay, they're both. Oh, sorry, I was meaning Pitch
Perfect.
Pitch
the exact
Perfect
same.
was
it's about
the
her
Rebel Wilson
nicknames.
film that I was on
Fat
about because
Amy.
Fat Amy.
Actually, the real joke of Fat Amy is actually quite clever.
Oh really?
Because her name's Patricia, so her real name would be Fat
okay,
Pat.
See, that's
That's clever, but that's
clever.
me that figured that out. The film doesn't
ever.
I think it was
I would
there.
say that a lot of people probably wouldn't have thought about that.
Nah,
I could be wrong.
I'm fair enough to say that the film probably had that there, but I went, oh, Fat Pat's really
maybe,
clever.
Maybe.
But
yeah, like I think when you can like I can take one. Like I don't think you shouldn't be able to joke about anything.
no, you should.
You
be
know, I
joking
think
about
like the second that you go, oh, you can't joke about that and you can't joke about this, which is why I really like South Park.
Well,
because like, and I don't know if do you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the new episode last night.
Oh, I forgot.
PC. It's really good.
What was I about to say? Yeah, there's an episode with the
Family Guy.
No, better than that.
What?
It's called it's 200, but it's got their 200th episode.
Oh, it's the Muhammad one.
Yes, that is the Muhammad one. Yeah, and
they're still annoyed at Comedy Central about that.
They are. Yeah, I would be as well.
So
I would be as well. But for those who haven't seen it, like there's the super best friends, and it's Jesus, Buddha,
Confucius.
Yeah, Confucius.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, who has
Muhammad.
ice breath. Yeah, Muhammad. But Muhammad is just depicted as a black censored bar.
No. Not in the Super Best Friends episode.
Is he not?
No, get the DVD.
Oh, really?
He's in it. He's really. It's just.
Is he just a guy?
Just a guy.
Just
Just a regular. He's
Right.
wearing Air Jordan. No, he's not. He's just done as like a stereotypical
Right,
idea of
okay.
what a Muslim from that time period would look like.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
The same as.
And he's got
the
fire
other-
powers, man. That's brilliant.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. He has
And there's
fire powers.
Shiva as well, isn't there?
Shiva's in it as well.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, right. So in the 200th episode,
He is blocked out in that.
He's depicted as a black censored bar, and celebrities want to steal
His
him
goo.
to take his like.
'Cause you can't
ability.
touch
You
him.
can't make fun of him. Yeah. So they dress him up in a
Santa.
no, they dress him up as a bear,
Okay.
and then the
cool.
episode ends. They dress him up as a bear, and they got death threats, only to find the next episode that it was Santa in the bear
Yeah,
suit.
and then that's just
Yeah.
an arbitrary point. You've got angry about something that was never that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't be intellectual when you've got idiots.
Do you mean the viewers of South Park, or do you mean
Everybody. Like, that's a great intelligent point.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when you've got fanatical people willing to do that nonsense. Like, I'm not a fan of, for example, Anita Sarkeesian.
I have no idea who that is.
She does this great YouTube thing called Feminist Frequency, and it's
Oh,
about
I have heard of that.
women
yeah.
in gaming, and I disagree with her because her own reasoning now and then is quite flawed, but she is correct on a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's this idea that it's the objectification of women, and her problem is she's telling it to people that don't want to be told you're sexist, because they're not in their heads. They don't realize
Well,
that.
I don't think anyone's wrong. Like anyone wakes up in the morning feeling like, oh yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
You know.
I know that, but there's a difference between waking up and thinking, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong, and then being told, actually, by
Yeah.
kind of supporting this, you are in the wrong.
Yeah.
Taking that away and going, oh, okay, and realizing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Her problem is she's telling that to people who just are
So,
at an
what's
age
her,
where she's
what
angry.
is
as
her
hell.
reasoning like, oh, Mario is a sexist game?
No.
because-
It's
right.
actually some of her stuff's actually really interesting.
Right.
One
Because
of
I have heard stuff like that.
She's
you
a-
know, and it's just.
I don't
like,
want to go too far in calling her a great person, because I also think she makes a mistake, and it's an intellectual mistake only,
Mhm.
because anybody that is really into game theory and pop culture in
Yeah.
general will make this mistake of looking far too much into something
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not there. So she probably does that more often than she doesn't. But her theory that is really pretty spot on, actually, is the latest Hitman game.
Okay.
And it's the posters for it. Now this is like a year,
Yeah.
quite a while ago, but the posters for it, they're all beautifully made. They look great, but the main posters is just a guy dead. He's just dead. He's slumped over, and
Mm.
it's something like perfectly executed. And then there's a photo of like a woman dead, and she's just sexually exposed. Like you're not seeing breasts or pussy or nothing.
Yeah, but, like-
it's draped. It's erotic, and it says underneath it, "Beautifully executed."
Right.
And there's a difference. There's a huge difference between those two posters, because the
Yeah.
man's not sexualized, but the woman is.
Yeah, yeah.
And Anita's just like, well, you're making sexualization go with violence, and that's not okay. And she's correct.
Yeah.
But I also think she's overseeing. She's seeing more than what the designers had. The designers weren't like, oh, let's make her sexy and make
Yeah.
that equivalent to violence. They did just think, well, let's make a beautiful woman.
Is it
and equate
is
with
it like
violence.
silhouetted or
No, it's-
no, right, okay.
It's really done out.
Right.
So that's like a good example of where she's kind of right.
Yeah.
They have kind of put the two together, and then she's got things like there's not that many female characters in GTA, and she
Yeah.
is right about that. But again, I think that's just
But then
because
you could argue that crime.
those characters aren't meant to be. You're not meant to like them. And
well, that's
if-
true. But then maybe I could be wrong, but the impression that I would get is that crime is a male dominated, like organized crime is male dominated.
Yeah, I know.
Like so, it's in that case it's realism. and not-
Problem with that though isn't the games actually, it's with the players. The players are leaving like GTA, and they're like equating crime with being badass and cool and funny.
Yeah.
Whereas I've yet to play this in a GTA game. I want to be bummed out at the end of it, except for number 4, where Nico doesn't win.
Yeah,
That's the only
yeah.
time I've been bummed out.
I don't know. 5, you kind of, as a player, you can be quite bummed out.
At what point?
Well, because you have to make a choice to
Yeah,
save
but
a character.
The right choice is the best one anyway, which is where everyone wins.
Which is
Death Wish.
is that?
C.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's where Franklin just loads up with Trevor and Michael and just like blows away everybody.
Meh.
What do you mean me?
Meh. No, I didn't choose that.
You choose that?
No.
Choose that. It's the real ending anyway.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that
it's the canon ending, because there's going to be DLC, which is going to use all those characters. So it's the canon ending.
Meh.
The one that gives you the most body count, Mike, is always the right answer. Just like when you're playing a first-person shooter. Do you want to know if you're going the right way?
You
Is there
kill-
guys
yeah,
shooting at you?
Yeah.
There you go. So she's got a great little channel, but her reasoning is also quite flawed in one thing, because she does movies as well, and she does a list of 50 movies that are nominated for Academy Awards, I think, which is dominated by men. It's true, but that's
That
just
is
because
true.
more men work in the industry, and you should just fix that.
Going back to GTA 5 though, like I suppose you could still make the argument, because there's the only two female characters that spring to mind are Michael's wife
and daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his wife's a bit of a whore.
At the start, she isn't at the end.
Yeah.
Which is a character growth, but she's not really a character in it.
And she's an
just
alcoholic.
She's an alcoholic as well.
And his daughter is like
Is
typical,
vapid, and as a millennial. That's kind of her thing.
Yeah.
Because she's
But then his son
is
is slobby.
a shithead. He's way worse.
So.
But that's where GTA 5 particularly had a really interesting thing, which was Michael is a father who can't connect with his son.
Yeah.
Because his son's a shithead and he just plays games and is
Yeah,
entitled and all this nonsense, which is a reflection on the players.
Yeah.
But the players are that character, so they don't understand irony and satire, so they just go, yeah. They don't get it, so it's kind of wasted
I think
on them.
maybe the younger players don't.
No, the younger players don't, but that's
The point.
profoundly who is playing these things. A lot of men play them,
Yeah.
but more kids play them than they should.
Well, you could argue that Michael is symbolic of the older players.
He is.
People who would have played GTA 1 and 2.
Yeah, he is, but I'm not even sure those people would play GTA 5. If you're Michael's age, 40, 50ish, I'm not even sure if you're playing it. You might be, and that'd be great, because I think everyone should game quite a lot, but it's the problem with games is the players. It's never the games. It is. It's always the
never
players.
The games.
Oh, some games are shitty and stupid, and they pander to that thing, but if developers want to stop pandering to that nonsense, you just need to start taking more chances, and studios and publishers need to go, alright, you took that risk and it didn't work, we have to try it again, we have to keep trying it, because there's never going to be another series of the BioShocks the way we've had them so far, because BioShock Infinite made a huge profit, but in the developers' mind, not the developer, the studio and the publishers, not enough of a huge profit.
Really?
So you're not, that really interesting story is not going to be done
It's such
again.
a well-received game as well, and I haven't played 1 or 2.
They're great.
I have 1, but for some reason I won't play on my computer. But I have played Infinite, and it was amazing.
Well, I'll tell you about Infinite. I want to finish about Sarkeesian thing, because she takes 50 films, and she says what they're about and what they're dominated by. So she goes, Rain Man, that's about men. This one, men. This one is about a woman being a man, so it's men. And then at the end, or close to the end, she gets to Silence of the Lambs, which is one of the best films of all time.
Yeah,
it's got my love interest, Jodie Foster. It's Clarice Starling.
Okay.
And she goes, this one's interesting because the main character is a woman, but it's about a man that eats other men, so he's the focus.
Okay.
Now that's just invariably not true. The film is about Clarice Starling hunting a man, but it's about her. And then at the end, she gives her own evidence on how she's wrong, but she doesn't address it. And she goes, if you want to find out what a film is about, who is the main character? What is their screen time? How do they affect the story?
Okay.
Hannibal Lecter has 20 minutes of screen time total of that film.
Okay.
Jodie Foster has 2 hours plus.
Right.
That film is about a woman then.
Yeah.
But her own reasoning, because she selected those films, and she selected them. I could select 50 films where it's just females, and I could then go, the feminist agenda ruining Hollywood, and it's just not true. So she's got selective. She's very selective in her argument.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're sort of choosing to draw sexism conclusions where they may not be. Yeah. Like, I would argue that just because a character is male doesn't always mean stuff.
Yeah, well, I got into an argument with somebody at work when I got really mad when they put Despicable Me on in the staff room, and I was like, "Fuck's wrong with you? Minions, aren't you sick of this bullshit by now?" And she went, "It's just easy. I like it." And I went, you didn't watch the best film 2013, and that's fucked up because it's Frances Ha. It's just about girls. It's a girl film. And she went, "That's sexist." I went, "How am I being sexist?" She went, "Saying only a girl would enjoy it." And I was like, do you know what? If that's sexist, I'm fine with being sexist, because men have got too many movies. There's too many movies that are just catered to us in general. So yeah, maybe we should have more films that are just strictly aimed at women, and until we get it, then that should be how it is. Because at the same time, even even like a big stupid film like Fast and Furious, that's just about men. The women in that are not anything more than
but then
add-ons.
like, that's the target demographic.
I know, and that's the problem, because there's more women going to the cinema than men.
Is it?
So there's more women sitting through films which just go, oh, women in cars are the same thing, or oh, women, they're the problem, or oh, women, they need saved, and they're just sitting there going, this doesn't appeal to me, and we need something that appeals to everybody.
But then, like,
and we're not doing it.
A lot of the films that are centered around women, are
bad.
Yeah,
they're
draw,
stereotypical.
They draw the wrong conclusions. Like Frozen is just not a good film. It's not. If you want a film,
better.
If you want an animated film about a strong female character, Brave,
second like, best.
Brave or Mulan, but then I could see in Mulan the argument for because like at the end she still goes with a guy.
Yeah,
like,
but she.
You know, like she does all this stuff. She does all this stuff, and she saves China, right?
And then, just a normal day in the life of a Chinese girl.
And then the victory for the character, quotation marks, is that the general or
Prince.
Comes and he's like, what's up?
What's up, babe?
What's up?
Let's have
some shiitake. That's Japanese.
Well, Pat Morita voices the Emperor, and he's Japanese. And he's dead.
Oh, what a shame.
Rip in peace, Mr. Miyagi. The interesting thing about Disney films is, by and large, they're actually about women. That's why Aladdin's one of the stranger films, because it's about a guy doing all the things that the girl usually does.
Yeah.
Whereas usually, it's a female doing it all.
Yeah, I think the two main ones that come to mind would be Aladdin and Jungle Book.
That's a good point. Didn't think about
there's
Jungle
not
Book.
a female character.
Yeah, there is. There's the girl at the very end.
So there is.
And
then they're remaking the Jungle Book, and Scarlett Johansson is the voice of the snake.
God, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in Disney remakes, because
I'm really not either. That Cinderella remake looked piss like.
Actually, I saw a bit of the Cinderella film, and it's not as good as the cartoon, which is just a gorgeous little film.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite sweet. The remake was sweet, but it wasn't needed. Like, if you're gonna do a remake of a bad film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like. Fuck it, I hate loads of films.
I think they just made it because they could.
Yeah, they had the rights, but
but
they
then,
don't need to.
They're always
because
gonna have the rights.
The problem with that though is that now that version of that story is like the canon for it, because Disney uses the latest iteration.
Right.
So your Cinderella is now totally different.
Is she a different character? Like,
well, in the story, no, she's still sweet and nice and brave and all that nonsense. But she was like that in the animated one anyway.
Yeah.
She was a cartoon. It's like.
Oh, so you mean like when the Disney World, when the Disney
market her out, she's gonna look like
the
Lily
actress instead of like the bun.
Yeah, the bun. I like the bun.
The bun and the light blue dress.
And the prince who doesn't have a face. Instead, he's going to be the guy from the Thing.
Richard Madden.
Yeah, that guy.
Rob Stark.
Yeah, that show about dragons with loads of fitness models. That's what that show is. Game of Thrones is about fitness models in the medieval times.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I do, but I keep falling out with it.
Right. Have you read the books?
I read.
It's the first question when anyone asks, I used to go
out with a girl who did read the books,
right?
And I've read the first one, and I know what happens in the rest of them.
Okay, well, I mean, the series is completely caught up with the books anyway.
Yeah, and is expanding, which is a good thing. Kinda, I'm falling out with both series because both series fall into a lot of stuff which I think is just quite cheap.
Yeah,
I like George R. R. Martin.
I do.
He's an incredibly charming guy. He's a very nice human.
He is.
He also wrote one of the most underappreciated. He helped edit as well. One of the most underappreciated little hidden gems in the world. It's called Wild Cards, and the reason I like it so much is it's a real world idea of superheroes. Okay. So it starts from 1950, as if superheroes burst onto the scene in the 50s, and then it says, well, this is how the world would change. For example, Fidel Castro briefly was in LA in the 50s, and after superheroes came out, there was like a what's it called, like a quarantine in the US, so nobody could leave. So in the Wild Cards universe, Cuba never became a communist state, and Fidel Castro became a baseball player for the LA Dodgers. That's true. He tried out for the Dodgers. And there's other things like Buddy Holly never got on the airplane, and he got infested with a virus, so now he is still touring as a werewolf. And then there's stuff like Jim Morrison, who also got powers and became the
See,
Lizard King.
right,
And
this is something. This might sound stupid. It's something that always confused me. Buddy Holly was on the same flight as
Big Bopper and Richie Valens.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
What confused you about that?
Because like I could never understand if it was different flights.
No, it's the same.
like always.
Would it be great if
all these people died in separate plane crashes?
Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper are all in planes,
and they
Richie's
crashed
like,
into each other.
"Get me closer, get me closer." Giant mid-air collision.
All these private jets.
And the last radio call was, "Get me closer, get me closer. I want to see my buddies." And then it's like, "We can't do that, Mr. Valens. You shut the fuck up. I wrote Donna, motherfucker." So yeah, he did Wildcard, which is a great series.
Yeah.
And it's unlikely to get picked up, and I kind of like that it's not. It's a great little series.
There's
loads of
there are
anthologies.
some things that just wouldn't
Translate.
Yeah.
There's stuff I love
Yeah.
that just shouldn't be translated anyway.
Yeah.
But R.R. Martin he's doing. At the time, he was doing like a really interesting thing with his song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
It should always be Fire and Ice. It doesn't work as Ice and Fire. Just alphabet. Never mind. But there is parts of it where you're reading it and I just start to feel like kind of cringy. And it's in the first book where he's describing Daenerys.
Okay.
And she's 13. That doesn't bother me. Like, there's lots of child sex happening.
Yeah.
I'm alright with that. I'm from the Europe. It doesn't matter. But
Well, I mean, like contextually, it's
it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not really. But there's a bit where she's describing what she's doing, and she's going, "Oh, I'm wearing this. I'm wearing that,"
Yeah.
and she's like caressing her body, and she's like really focusing on her boobs, and you're like, yeah, because women go around all day going, "As I walk, my boobs go up to the left, up to the right, back down together. Thank God gravity still works." He focuses a lot on like women just constantly thinking about their clothes and their boobs and sex, and, but men get to think about headier stuff. But then there's characters like Cersei who is brilliant.
Yeah.
The person that revealed just how clever that character was Hannah.
Yeah, what did
She
say?
loves Cersei.
Yeah.
And Hannah summed it up pretty well. She was like, Cersei, if she was a guy, would have won that fucking war by now. Because,
you think?
Yeah. Because she'd have been respected more. The thing about Cersei is that she always craves power and then she doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But that's because she's not like...
She's never been taught how
She's never been taught
power.
how. She's just like, you're a woman, you're just here for popping out kings.
Yeah.
But she's clever, she's whip smart, but she's not as smart as she thinks she is.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I think, I might be wrong, but I think that's Hannah's favourite character, and she really showed me just how brilliant Cersei's a great character.
Yeah.
But she needs better plots. My favorite ending of Game of Thrones is the most boring one.
Is it where everyone died?
No. It's Littlefinger.
Is that where Jon Snow comes back on a dragon?
No. It's where Littlefinger would... Because the whole series, I think, this is just my interpretation of it, it's about how aristocracy and the monarchy isn't actually good. So what Littlefinger should do is... Because he's a lord right now. So he's already in that inner circle, and he's got an army and all that bullshit. But he should then go, right, the only way we can actually tide this war over, we need to just get rid of this Iron Throne. And they make essentially the beginnings of what we have, like republics or democrats. That's the most boring ending to that, where they get rid of monarchy and they bring in a just as inefficient system. But that shows actual progression for your story, rather than the ending, which I don't know where it's going, because he doesn't know where it's going. He says he does, but I hate hearing this bullshit.
He has
that
a rough idea.
I hate that, because people then go, "Oh, he's told the writers of the show the ending." It's like, no, he's not. Has he? There's no way he's told the ending.
I know they've said that.
So what? So what? That doesn't mean anything.
But
they might have just said that just to like assuage the people that are just like, "You're ruining my thing I love." But the reason why I loved the show up until the 5th season, the 5th season is not a good season. It is just cruel for cruel's sake. Yeah.
Well, Lewis was saying that,
and that's a weird way to go with it.
It's the series has gone on like a lot of the things that happen in the books, like they sort of leave, like,
which is fine because
this
there's
character
bits you
has
have
died,
to cut.
but they might still be there. Yeah, there might be a legacy, or they might come back.
I like that because it's differentiating your two things, and there's things that work in books which don't work on a TV. But the 5th season, it just ramped up this cruelty factor to where I was like, that's not needed. You're just doing that because you're wanting people to talk about that. Yeah. And it's not required. We already knew Ramsay's a dickhead. You didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Now, it makes sense. Like, in the show-wise, what happens to Sansa is... I'll accept it because he's a cruel person.
But then he's worse in the books.
And yeah, he's way worse.
He is worse.
But there's things in the book, in the show, which doesn't make sense though as well. For example, right, there's that old lady that says, "Put a candle at the top, and we'll help you."
Oh right, yeah.
And Ramsay's like going, and he's showing her around the battlements, and then he shows her that woman's corpse. How the hell did he know it was that woman? Because there was nobody there to rat her out. Sansa put the candle up, admittedly, but unless Ramsay had tortured Sansa, which we would have seen, and she ratted out that old lady, there's no way he could have known that the old lady did that. Reek wasn't about, so he couldn't have said it either. It was just, we'll show how cruel this guy is. It's like, oh, so he's super cruel and he's telepathic. Wow, I should probably just be on Team Ramsay because that seems to be where the money is.
Yeah, I do think season 5 just...
It's just a cruel... It became a genuinely cruel show when I really quite liked... See, I think it's got one of the best pilots ever.
We'll see, the way the Dorne ended as well.
Dorne was I like that whole thing, but I didn't like I didn't like the show's version of it. But I like places like Dorne. I like that. Like my favorite place is what's it called? Essos.
Yeah,
because it's Dothraki and shit, and they're just Native Americans / Mongols, and that's the culture I'm more interested in. Right. But I also get that's kind of the genius of the show as well, which is, oh, you don't like this plotline, don't worry about it. We're going to go a new one later on.
Yeah.
But it just focuses on a lot of really selfish people doing selfish things. The most brave thing Game of Thrones the show could do is break away from that entirely, and just for one episode, don't even need to be for a season, you just follow a guy, just a regular guy, and just see how his family is starving, or how he's scared that his wife's going to get raped, or his farm's going to be pillaged. Just show the consequences of what these selfish people are doing over blood ties and power.
That's interesting, but I wouldn't work in the TV show.
I think it would work.
I don't. Maybe in as a chapter in the book, as the prologue.
I think it would work as a TV show
because the prologue and epilogue characters tend to die at the end.
You don't need to do anything with this character either. You just need to show these consequences, because they do on this show, and it's mostly just big battle stuff. I admit this, but that's why the show should do something like what I'm saying, because it would break out of its own rhythm.
Yeah.
If you just showed this guy who, you don't have to do anything to him, you just have to kind of show his daily life.
Well, they kind of touched on that with the little kid that joins the Night Watch. Kind of. Because
What do you mean?
Ollie.
Okay, but the problem is he's still on the Night Watch.
Yeah, he is in the Night Watch, but the way he just starts off oh, he's a kid, and then boom, his dad's just killed. Right? But I fucking knew that was coming. I fucking knew.
You knew it was coming. Whereas if you do what I'm doing, it breaks out of that rhythm.
But then I don't know if that was because I read the books, because I sort of look at it okay, who are these characters? Every time a new character's on screen, who is he? What's he wanting? What's he going to be doing, and how is he going to be relevant to the story? And it's well, right, okay, so the show's bad, but it's not just going to.
I don't think the show's
focus bad. But cruel is what I mean.
All right, okay.
It's not going to focus on murdering a child on the first time he's on screen, right? Okay. So his dad's going to die, right? Because he was with his dad, right? And lo and behold, 10 seconds later, his dad was shot with an arrow.
And now Ollie's wildlings killed my dad.
Yeah.
It's right, okay, but you're thinking of them as a small individual. You're thinking of the wildlings, Ollie, not you. No, Ollie's worse than a hive mind, because he's thinking of the wildlings as a singular person who let loose. It was an arrow or some bullshit.
Yeah.
He's thinking of the wildlings as one guy instead of this huge varied culture that also have problems.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's my problem with a lot of the characters in it. They're such small-minded people.
Then a lot of people are small-minded.
I don't believe that. I'm much
do you think there are more open-minded people than there are closed-minded?
Here's the thing, Mike. If I thought everyone was awful, I just wouldn't wake up. I'd just kill myself right now. I can't. I genuinely, and that kind of sounds like a self-lying thing. Is me going, I have to believe everyone's good. But if you're realistic about it, you've only met 6 or 7 shitheads in your entire life.
I've met a fair few.
maybe you're the shithead.
Maybe I'm the shithead. Maybe I'd like to think that I'm not the
Something
shithead.
I do like.
I like to think that I'm alright, guy.
Something I do like in Game of Thrones is the naming of the characters.
What do you mean?
Right, we'll just use the Lannisters as an example. So he's got kids. The first one comes out and he's like Cersei, and then Jaime, Tyrion. Like, wait, how the fuck did you get from Jaime to Tyrion?
Well, he's Tywin.
Yeah, all right, but he's also got like a brother called Kevin. So
That's true.
It's
and then his dad was something like Tyrone.
Tysel.
That's
They've got great. I don't know if it is Tysel.
I think it was.
Throwing out bullshit, but I just like the way that the characters are named. They just go like, for example, you've got Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah.
And then you've got his best friend Duncan. I like the show because at one point there's a good there's a good talk about fantasy on a podcast called Cracking the Spine, where this writer was saying how the more made up names you have for your universe, the less believable it is.
Okay.
So like I like to imagine George R. R. Martin's like got a list of names which he thinks are wicked cool, and then he's got ones that are just for the normals, and he goes, I need some more normals in here, because you've got
Marge,
you've got Rob,
yeah,
John, and then you've got Bran. You're on the tip,
yeah,
and then you go mental with Sansa,
yeah,
and then what's the last one called? Arya.
Rickon.
There you go.
There's
Rickon. There you go. Like, there's bits where you go, oh, careful, because their dad's called Ned. But his name's Eddard. And then you've got Caitlyn Jenner as the mum. That's why she's not.
Caitlyn.
Whatever. That's why she's not back in the show. It's not
right.
because she's dead. It's because she fucking ran over 2 people in February. And just finally caught her for it.
She got off with that, didn't she?
I think it's still in the air. What's happening? Okay. I'd be pissed off if she got off with it.
Then she was part of the defense that got OJ off.
No, that she's not.
No.
That's that was Kris Jenner's husband. Something Kardashian.
Oh right. Okay.
She was married to the guy that got OJ off.
Oh right, and then married.
Then married Bruce,
who is now Caitlyn.
Who's now Kate. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Who's now prisoner 619 or something. What's the?
The Les Mis.
Yeah,
I couldn't fucking tell you.
26619. That's my phone number. I got your phone number. Fuck you, Jackman. Hugh Jackson, man. Fuck you, Gladiator.
They should just be like, "Hey, Wolverine, get back here!
Go fuck your mother.
Fuck off, Gladiator."
Your beautiful mind, stop my dick.
I heard that was like a really shit reimagining.
Beautiful Mind?
No.
Or Les Mis?
Les Mis.
I don't like Les Mis.
The
I've film, don't like it, and the book's quite good, but it's got a problem of like huge coincidences.
Right.
Which I'm okay with if the universe is ridiculous, but Les Mis is like set in a kind of important time because it's the French Civil War and stuff. But I didn't like Les Mis. I know a lot of people that went to the cinema to see Les Mis and cried during it.
Really?
At the same time Django was playing, and I was like, wait a minute.
Why would anyone go when Django was just such a phenomenal film?
Les Mis was huge. Like no Tarantino film's ever cracked 200 million.
Really?
No, he's never cracked more than 100.
Wow.
Everyone knows Quentin Tarantino's name.
Hateful Eight might though.
Nah.
No.
It's not going to do it. It's a western.
You never know.
I'm telling you now, it's not going to do it. Everyone knows Tarantino's name because how good he is, but his films don't.
Well, I suppose they're always 18s.
They're always 18s. That's the big one, and they're always pretty cinema heavy. Whereas Les Mis is not a great film, but it's also pandery anyway. Because
it's not going to be anything new.
But what bugged me about Les Mis is people crying and going, "I'm so emotional." I was like, "Oh, have you seen Django? Yeah. Did you cry at that? No. That's about slavery. You sick fuck. What's wrong with you? Like, Les Mis is about a guy just dying after stealing some bread. Like, Django's about slavery, you monsters." Well, like Tarantino's never cracked 200 million. That's like an interesting thing. The whole world knows his name, whereas most people don't know who did Les Mis.
I couldn't tell you.
His name's Chris something. Chris. He won the best director for The King's Speech.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Which is similarly.
I saw a piece of news which maybe you would describe as a travesty.
Go for it.
Right. Jurassic World is getting not just 1 but 2 sequels.
No, I knew that.
It's a
I knew that when I saw it.
Trilogizing it.
I knew
I
that
hope
was
that's
in
the word
stages
that
ago.
catches on, by the way.
Trilogizes. What's this?
Trilogize.
It's a trilogosaurus.
Does it have a logical ending at one, or did they leave it open for?
I think if you're a logical person, no, it's not got a logical ending, because the park, which was a huge tourist attraction, it was making billions every year. Shambles, hundreds dead, monsters on the loose. And then
PR disaster.
Like, they can't rebuild Jurassic Park because people are going to go, no, you have failed 4 times now at making this. No more dinosaurs. Like, I'm not one for government supervision.
Maybe Chris Pratt's just like, fuck you. But don't take my dinosaurs.
I'm not one for the government coming in and telling me what to do. But the UN should be going, no, InGen, I've had it with your nonsense. You are not building any more monster parks.
I do think that really.
Here's the ending.
They would once because.
I think it's going to be a military
within
ending.
The universe, 1 would be a PR disaster.
Well, no, it wouldn't, because that was a beta test. Nobody knew they were doing that.
Right. But then...
2's the disaster.
What's the casualty count in 1, roughly?
Yeah, it's quite small, that's why it's good.
Right.
It's only like 4 or 5, maybe. 2's the PR disaster, because that's T-Rex gets loose in San Diego.
Yeah, but then they didn't acknowledge 2 or 3 in Jurassic World.
Which annoys me. But... because it just bugs me that they go, they didn't happen. And you're like, you know what, your movie didn't fucking happen. But the way they'd end for Jurassic World is at the end of the film, Dr. Henry Wu, who returns from the first one, is apparently been a mole this entire time, and he's helping this sleazy dickhead like steal dinosaur embryos because they want to use raptors for the army, which is such a stupid system.
Stupid. That is not even a thing. Like,
that's a child's idea of a good idea.
The army can be stupid, but they're never going to be that stupid.
No, because it doesn't. Here's the thing.
Let's weaponize raptors.
The thing is, though, like,
lasers on them.
He described like a really good idea for a horror movie though, by accident, and it's where he goes, "You got these." He didn't say this, but I may as well because I'm just going to go full hog. He's like, got these goddamn ragheads living in their tunnels. You send a raptor in there. And that's like a good idea for a film. Like, if you're stuck in an enclosed space with a raptor, that's Alien style creepy,
I suppose.
But then that's not what they were going for. They were just saying it because
like Alien is a hunter, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So whereas like raptors, I doubt it has the intelligence.
No, that's the thing.
To be a terrifying.
It's really intelligent. Because the raptors in all the films are the most scary thing in the film. That's always the thing. Is that what's the most scary thing in the world? It's like, well, look at this thing, man. It's all claws and teeth, and it's smart. So
yeah, it's not going to match the intelligence of Alien, though.
Alien's not smart. Alien is just a psychosexual beast that's ready to fucking kill you.
Or Predator.
Nah, Predator sucks. I'm not being fair. I think the Predator design's quite good.
Yeah.
But it falls apart because it falls in with the lowest common denominators, which is horror and monster fans, and I'm being a bit of a dickhead there. But they are, because they keep going to see the shitty sequels for it. But Predator 2 is better than Predator 1 because it's in LA and it opens with an amazing like gang war drug fight. You're so much more interested in this drug war going on between these Jamaicans and Mexicans than I was. And Danny Glover's the hero. Yeah. The most confusing action hero in history is this old granddad who's like, what's going on? And just goes, oh, there's Mexicans, no problem. And he puts like
LAPC cop, like
LAPC?
PD. So,
oh right, okay.
Fucking hell.
He puts these two.
I'm all over the place.
He puts these two bulletproof vests over his car doors, and he drives like hanging out the side of it into these Mexicans, and then he's just blatting them away. And then the Predator goes, "He's the most deadly one in the city. I have to fight him."
He's smart.
He's Danny Glover.
He's smarter than us.
And the thing that the only bit I don't like about Predator 2 is that it did this stupid crossover thing, which was just a joke. It was just like a set designer's thing. It's like, wouldn't this be funny to do that? And then it turned into a franchise. When Danny Glover goes into this like secret Predator base thing, there's all these skulls on the wall. One of them's an alien skull, which is just like a good little set design Easter egg. But then fans, of course, went fucking nuts, and then people went, what if we did combine the universes? And now we're in the current problem of
Alien vs Predator.
Alien vs Predator, and that being like a thing.
Are they making a third one?
I really don't know.
Probably. If it'll make money, they'll make it.
Yes.
That's the sad thing.
Because I like Alien's a far more interesting. Alien's like probably it is definitely one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Because it's not even about aliens. It's all about being freaked out about becoming pregnant. It
The whole
is.
thing is an allegory for pregnancy.
It is. It's the whole film is an allegory for the fear of pregnancy and the fear of homosexual rape. Because the alien is like sexual, whatever. It's just kind of both.
Yeah.
It's all life, so it's kind of sexy looking, but it's mechanical looking as well. So it's cold.
Yeah.
And it's got.
It's unloving.
It's
Doesn't
got.
cuddle.
It's a woman. It opens its mouth and it's got a smaller mouth inside it. So there's even like the fear of intimacy, of like, because it holds you. It brings your face close to its face, and you're like, oh, it's gonna give you a smooch, and then it's that little like bitey thing, and the face hugger is a vagina with legs, but then the vagina opens up into a penis and it fires into your mouth, and then it happens to John Hurt in the first film, who's a man. So the first predator victim's a man, and then
Alien victim.
yeah, sorry, and then so he's been face fucked, and then this penis explodes from his chest. It's birth, but happening to a man. It's just a man's fear of sex, really. The whole film is just that. Alien is just coincidental that it was an alien, because the egg even looks like a vagina and it opens up. It's brilliant, and it's far more clever than pretty much any other alien film that ever came out. There you go.
I have
Except Under
absolutely
the Skin.
nothing to say to that.
Have you never seen Alien?
No.
Fuck's
I'm
wrong
just
with
not
you?
interested. Right, see, like
Fuck
when I
is
was in
wrong
when I
with
was in
you?
high school, I hung out with like a group of people, and they would just like, they would talk like they would. One of them would watch something, right? So Alien was one of them, and Fight Club was another. And then for the next like 6 weeks, it would be all they talked about.
Right, that's because they're both like seminal films.
Yeah, but no, like it wasn't just like, when I say it was all they talked about, I don't mean as like an exaggeration. Like they talked about it a lot. Was the conversation.
Yeah, because they're seminal films.
And it's just like, I was just like, fuck, man. Like I don't care. You know, like by the
That's
second
your
week.
failing, not theirs.
No, by the second week, I'm like, I don't give a shit.
No,
Like,
that's your failing. That's not them. That's you. That's the problem there.
fine, whatever. But like, I'm just absolutely not interested. Like, you've ruined the experience for me.
They can't.
And
have
the first
ruined
time
it.
I watched Fight Club, I was like, this film
Did
sucks.
they spoil the ending for Fight
Yeah.
Club? Right, that's their failing.
Like,
But you should have said, "Don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it."
I was just like,
Mike,
I was just
you
like,
should have
this-
just exiled them
this
out of
sucks.
the Pride Lands,
I,
Simba style.
I was just like, this sucks. This sucks. You built it up to be this fucking like life-changing film,
Mhm.
right? That will warp my perception of everything ever.
Okay.
And it wasn't. Like, now that I'm older, like I've rewatched it again like a couple of years later, and I was like, fucking hell, this is really good. But it was because I didn't like fetishize it, you know, the way that they did.
Okay, that's fine. But like, yeah, you're failing this. I think they're. Yeah, I get what you're saying about like somebody just oversaturatingly talking to you about it, and
Yeah.
then that makes you just spitefully not see it.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing
I
Alien.
can't be quite spiteful.
That's
What am I?
awful.
Meh.
Don't meh me.
Don't meh.
I'm sick of
Oh,
you.
I'm not into the whole horror genre, so
That's fine, but Alien's not really a horror film.
no. Yeah, I would argue it's sci-fi. So
That's not just a perfect film. There's a secret genre that only I know of. It's called perfect films. I can name them off for you, but
Go on then.
from the start.
Challenge accepted.
Fuck. All right.
How many perfect films do you think there are?
How many perfect films there are?
Less than 10
No, there's hundreds of perfect films.
perfect films.
Perfect films. Are,
Okay, give me 5.
Me five. Okay, Akira's one of them.
Okay.
See, I'm just thinking of A because I've got them alphabetically organized. Under the Skin,
Uh-huh.
Love Exposure, Snowpiercer,
Of course, Snowpiercer was one.
Chinatown, Manhattan's really good.
What about The Money Pit?
Money Pit with
The
Tom
Money Pit,
Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
No, it's not. I was thinking about The Money Pit last night.
Were you?
Not watching it, just thinking about it, going, "That's a shitty movie."
That
man."
was a shit film. I was
Locked, very good.
I was sitting, and I don't know if you do this, but I do this all the time. Right?
Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind.
I sat down at my computer, right, with my toasty, right, and a cup of tea, right, and I thought, oh well, you know, I'll just browse Reddit, right.
No, you've
No,
already
no.
lost me.
Right, okay, or I'll just browse, right, and half an hour later, right, was the next thing that I remember. And I was sitting, my toasty was gone, my cup of tea was finished.
Raccoons.
My cup of tea was finished, right, and I was halfway through an article about Tom Hanks.
What, on Reddit?
And I have and I have absolutely on Wikipedia. Okay. I have absolutely no idea how I got there.
Yeah,
but
I sometimes
somehow I just sort of wound up halfway down.
I only end up. There's only like 5 sites I visit every day though. Yeah. I'm on Facebook to see who's angry at me.
Which is everyone.
Quite a lot of people. Cracked for just some informative articles.
Yeah.
And occasionally, well, to be fair, Cracked, I'm more interested now in the podcast of Cracked. I'm so much less interested in a lot of their articles.
The quality of a lot of the articles
went down a bit. I still read them, and I still usually will walk away with something new. Shiznit every day. It's great. It's a really interesting little film site. Okay. It's done mostly by fans though, so they have actual jobs. So it's not daily. It's whenever they get around to it, which is sometimes great because you might get 5 reviews in a week, and that's great because the reviews are brilliant. But then you might have a good month where it's just like little bullshitty things, and it kind of sucks. But I understand it. On Wikipedia, because I get lost in those traps. I'll just type something and you just start clicking, and then 6 hours later, you always end up in the same hole though of serial killers. Everyone ends up reading about serial killers.
Maybe you.
No, I know more people that have been like, I've stayed up till 4 a.m. reading about serial killers. Everyone's done it.
No, I haven't.
You're broken.
I maybe have been on articles about serial killers, but no.
And 5 is my email. That's it.
Email.
I only go for like 5 sites.
Are you a Yahoo email address?
Yep.
Are you actually?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? What's wrong with Yahoo? Gives me my email. That's it.
I'm the only person I know with a live.
What's live?
Just live. It's like one of the weird Hotmail ones.
I don't know what that is.
There was Hotmail, and then when I was younger, it's Rock and Roll 66.
I've had the
MSN.
same email address since I was 15.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's nothing exciting.
Yeah. We should set up an email address for this.
We should set up an iTunes, Mike. Yeah?
You know what? I need to fucking get around. You know what? I'll do it when I fucking finish my Cinelearn.
I'm not doing that until tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm putting it off until the exact day, and I'm handing in at 11:52.
We have to do e-learning for the place that we work at, and Have you ever done e-learning before?
I did. I
believe e-learning is what I believe to be
the future.
No, oh no, God no. The sort of accepted term for it.
Wait, what the hell? Like, I did when I was doing my teaching degree. Quite a lot of it. If I wasn't in an actual lecture, I was doing it online.
What, uni stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of stuff you can.
If that's what you mean, then...
No, I mean, like, you have to sit and watch these videos.
Oh, no, I've never done that. I've never had to do that.
It's a pile of piss, mate. Like,
piece of piss, man.
No, it's not.
See this piece of piss? You can take it at home, it's easy, just put it on your mantelpiece, take girls rude, call broads, be like, yeah, you ever seen a pile of piss? They're like, yeah, every morning. Well, I went and bagged mine, put it on my mantle, man. See that? That's me with my Fitbit tap when I was 15. That's me with my bronze medal.
I've still got it.
That's me with my bronze medal when I was doing taijutsu.
Taijutsu.
Aye, that's my pile of piss.
But yeah, it was just like it's the most mind-numbingly boring thing.
Have you done it?
I've nearly finished it.
I've not even
I took one of the exams, right?
Mm-hmm. Aced it.
There's an ice cream one, and then there's a popper one.
Probably failed the popper one.
I failed the popper one by 2%.
I might just ask. I'm just gonna ask someone for the answers.
I mean, they're mostly self-explanatory, but it was stuff like what protective equipment do you need? And
the only I'm actually kind of okay with the Cinelearn thing. Like, I understand why it's being done. I understand a lot.
I think you should get paid for it. You should get paid for.
I agree with that. We should have been made to do it at work. If they were going to make us do it at all, it shouldn't have been this homework nonsense.
Yeah,
because this is like cutting into my private life.
It's so juvenile. Like Kieran was saying the other day,
he hates it.
He does.
I know
he does.
He hates it.
But he was like, I said I don't have the time. right?
Well, that's bullshit. You do.
Which is.
But you shouldn't have to make time for it.
But it's not.
It's
but
work.
But I like, in my opinion, I don't think it is bullshit because like I don't have the time that I want to allocate to it.
No, that's why I'm agreeing
Like,
with you. You physically have the time to
Yeah.
do it, but it's
my-
cutting into your private life.
My free time is
Is
my
yours.
free time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and Kieran said like, oh, how many hours do you spend playing Rome Total War? Like, you know, and it's like, well, I had to conquer Gaul. You know?
No. Like,
but like,
you're absolutely right.
Time. Yeah, exactly.
If I'm not being paid for something work related,
yeah, you don't want to
shouldn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's why if I'm going to the cinema, I'm going to do my fucking best to not go to the one I work at.
Yeah.
You need to have that separation.
Yeah.
And we should be, if we're doing a similar thing at all, fine. I understand why we're doing it.
Yeah.
You should be being paid for it.
Yeah.
This is
just
just.
like I was saying to Josh yesterday. Like even if they had said like you're scheduled in for an hour or 2 hours, right? Get as much done in that time as you can, and the rest you have to do at home. Like that to me is perfectly reasonable.
I would just do the booklets
You know,
again.
Yeah, but like.
I've got time.
But then like there's like a certain amount of leeway that you'll get, and they won't print off booklets for everyone.
Yeah, I know.
Because at that point, it's not even worth we're not worth the paper that it's printed on.
Well, it's not worth doing either. Like I know why they do. I know a lot of things at work. I understand for like the bureaucratic little reasons of, because this is why I like all the managers. Is I get that they've just got a worser person above them.
Yeah.
Getting up their asshole about it, and that's not fair on them.
Yeah.
Because nobody who's a manager at work really wants to go down and tell you to do this bullshit.
Yeah.
None of them want to. But
then at the same time, like, it's just as bad coming down and then shitting on us. You know, like, so at that point, like, there's and it's the same in all retail jobs.
Yeah.
You know, it's not specific to the cinema, but
it's confusing. It confuses me because it just seems to be making you do more nonsense so that they can say to their bosses they've did this nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's a pointless waste of time. It's like.
Well, yeah, it's
like the government getting you to do your recycling so they don't have to pay you for the recycling.
Admittedly, I've been like sort of like half-assedly like I've sat with all like Impractical Jokers on. It's hilarious, right? Right, like sitting like absolutely fucking pissing myself as this fucking St. Lawrence going on. But there's a video that I have watched 6 times and it hasn't registered as being watched.
Wait, so it registers you doing it as well?
Yeah, like so.
Or you haven't just registered watching it?
Alright, well, no, what I've had it on, right, and just muted the flash player, right? And then kept
your real thing on.
Yeah, right? So it runs and I see it, though I've got the window, like I've got half window on one screen, half on the other. And I've watched, that video has played, right? It's 8-minute video 6 times, so whatever 8 times 6 is, right?
Do you have a webcam?
No.
Okay.
Why?
I was going to say, maybe they're watching you not watching it, not paying attention.
That would be creepy as
and
fuck.
that's how they're registering.
That would be creepy as fuck. But yeah, like it's just like it's at the point now. It's like, am I gonna watch? Is there a point in fucking having because you can't do anything else on the learning site, while this video's playing. So you have to. That's just like, and Ryan was saying, just like let it buffer and then play the last 10 seconds or something like that. And I tried that, it didn't work.
I really don't give a fuck about it. I woke up this morning going, fuck, what day is it? And Alex went, it's the 23rd, and I was like, it's alright.
Yeah.
But not because she went,
still time.
No, not because of that. She was like, why? And I was like, I don't want to do it until the last 10 minutes of the 24th. I don't.
It's pretty time consuming. Like
I've heard
take
that.
you a good couple of hours.
Well, that's what I've heard, and that's why I'm gonna go out of my way to do it as close to the last minute as I can. Because I feel really. The way that I feel quite a lot at work is I'm playing with a snake.
Yeah, I see that.
Playing with my snake.
I heard it through my headphones.
Working headphones. Ain't no Beats by Dre here. Yeah, take that, Dr. Dre. Fuck you.
Fuck yeah.
I take
fuck
Dr.
you.
Dre. Here's my hit list.
When I
Vinnie
see someone,
Jones, Dr. Dre.
when I see
Queen.
someone walking down the street with Beats by Dre, right?
You've got Beats by Dre.
No, I don't.
You've got big DJ
I've got big headphones.
Why?
I've got big headphones because
what are you trying to prove?
They're comfortable.
Fuck off.
Yeah, they are.
Whatever. Right, okay, go on.
But anyway, right, when I see someone and they have Beats by Dre, I automatically assume that they're not an intelligent person.
Or listen to Dr. Dre.
They do or don't?
I don't assume they do.
No, wait. So you assume that they don't listen to Dr.
Yeah.
Dre?
Just like how everyone wearing a
really-
Tupac shirt. I'm like, you don't listen to Tupac.
It does. I don't care what people do or don't listen to, but like I do. I just look at them and I'm like, well, you obviously have no idea what you can get for your money, because like
How
they're
much
not
is a
good.
Beat
They're
by
not
Dre?
good headphones.
They're really expensive, aren't they?
They're ridiculously
How much
expensive.
are they?
They're like 150 quid.
That's
Yeah,
pretty much.
for headphones, right?
You just
And
steal
they're not-
headphones from your school.
And they're not great. Like you could steal these
No, no, I don't. Oh no, wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, different jacks. Oh, well.
different jacks, but yeah, like the headphones I have, they're like 20 quid from Asda or whatever.
You've been ripped
Right.
off, mate. 7 quid.
Yeah, again.
7 quid.
I have a pair of in-ear headphones as well,
GBCs.
but they really hurt. I'm such a fucking
I'm such a.
yeah,
They hurt my
They
ears.
do. They really hurt though.
Oh, Mike, they
do.
hurt my ears.
Dude.
And my mum's in Brazil, so she can't hear me. I just want my ears to die. Man up.
Fuck off. That's sexist.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
sexy,
sexist.
so it's alright.
Fucking hell, speak for yourself.
I know, I do. Often, see, as nobody else tells me it anymore.
Oh, rough.
I hate being married.
Actually, I was standing outside of Sean and I went out on Monday. Yeah, and the only place open was garage.
Does he walk
right?
bow-legged now?
Why would you walk bow-legged?
Yeah, you know why. You know why he walks bow-legged.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Took
Anyway,
him out
right,
on Monday
so,
behind the bins.
So the only place open was garage, right? And I am not a fan of nightclubs. I really am not.
Bullshit.
I'm not.
You're always like, full of
Right,
pedophiles.
Exodus Tuesdays are the exception, right? The greatest
Full of
place,
peds.
greatest place on earth.
No,
right?
Exo's. If you go to Exo, you're a pedophile or a child.
Okay, right. Anyway,
Or a cheap as fuck cinema worker who just doesn't give a shit. Who's so beaten down by what they've had to do that they're like, anywhere where a double's 50p and a blowjob's 3. That'll do me.
Anyway,
Fucking
right,
hate Exodus.
so the only place open was garage, right? And the garage in Aberdeen is
Brilliant.
dire,
Brilliant.
brilliantly dire.
Brilliant.
It's a special place. But
Hold
anyway,
of
so
once.
like what I do like in nightclubs is just, I don't smoke and I've never smoked. But I
Are
like
you just saying that because your mum listens to this?
maybe.
Mum, I don't smoke.
I
Never
don't.
smoked.
Well, I genuinely don't like.
No, I
'cause
don't- I don't
just
either.
I hate the taste.
I can't
Um,
inhale, that's why.
And so anyway, but I like standing out with all the smokers because
Because they're the cooler people.
yeah, well, you get a chat, right?
They are.
And there's this there's this lassie, right? And we were just chatting away, and she was like, "Oh, what do you study?" And I'm like, "Oh, journalism," right? And it was like up until this point, it's just a perfectly like friendly conversation, right? And then she was like,
You're scum.
What do you think about Syria?"
That's some heavy garage stuff,
like,
man. That's brilliant.
Whoa!
I
the
like her.
fuck? Yeah,
I like her because I don't like people who like ask me bullshitty small talk. I'd rather talk about
bullshitty small talk.
sex,
I was
magic,
just
and Syria.
like I was so caught off guard. Like you know nobody goes to a nightclub expecting to be like, oh yeah, the Syrian refugees, and I was just like, well,
Shit.
you know,
That's
it's
so
kind of
loud.
like I don't think you're gonna get much of a different answer from anyone who knows,
Wait, okay, hold
Like-
on. Why? What did you say?
because right,
Drive them back into the sea.
No, nobody's gonna say that. Like,
Yeah, I've met people that say that.
David Cameron, right, our lovable
Pig
pig
fucking-
fucking
I'm
prime
alright with
minister.
that. I have done worse than fucked a pig. And I don't even run a country.
Wow.
So
Was
well,
it dead at the time?
It was squealing. No, I've never fucked an animal.
Anyway.
Well, she might argue. But she's dead now.
Anyway, right,
And she met David Cameron.
David Cameron said that we would take 5,000 refugees by 2020.
Oh, we're so nice.
So that right, when you do the wonderful math, right, is 1,000 refugees a year. Right?
Yes. Okay.
Right? But that's ridiculous.
Which
That's
is
such a
less-
small number.
Which is less than an arm a day, I think. My math ain't great, but we take in less than an arm a day. It's freedom math.
wow, freedom math in it, America. But yeah, like
UK.
there are so many.
It's stupid.
Yeah, we have so much land. We have
We have a lot of bullshit land.
we do have a lot of bullshit land.
We have a lot of graveyards and a lot of golf courses.
Too
Most
many golf courses.
Biggest waste of space is graveyards.
Anyway, you know we've got plenty of, and the British economy is doing well in comparison.
It's tough for yourselves, child.
Fucking
I'm now out of my deposit. Not my deposit. I'm now out of my overdraft. So I'm rich as fuck.
Oh, okay, well I'm in my in my overdraft. So you're
when you get out of it, Mike, you will feel like the best person alive. I now have my own money.
Yeah, I've forgotten what that's like.
That I stole.
But yeah, so I think it's shocking that we're not taking more. Like we have the capacity, and even if we didn't, it's a humanitarian thing.
Well, that's what I was going to get. I was like, right, it's obviously like a huge issue, and I don't actually know all the ins and outs of taking in refugees and all that bullshit.
I'm sure there's a lot of political.
But there is a very good point that people have, but the people that are saying this are usually evil. Of, well, why can't we take care of people that live here already? That's a good point.
That is a good point.
But there's no reason you can't do both.
Yeah.
So that kind of shuts down that argument and also allows that second argument.
And she raised a really good point. Like, she was like, I would like to, like, the United Nations to somehow solve the problem, and which is like politically is much more complicated.
A bit harder than just going, Syria, stop that.
Yeah,
because sanctions and stuff don't matter to you if really you don't care.
Yeah.
If your whole thing is ethnic cleansing, you don't care about
take
your
the ramifications.
You don't really care about your Twitter. You don't care. You don't care what Kim Jong-un is the best example of this because North Korea is harmless. I'm sick of people freaking out about North Korea. It's harmless. The only people that North Korea can hurt are North Koreans. They're the only people being hurt.
It's not something that you hide. Like that's not a defense. Like they can only hurt North Koreans.
No, I'm not saying that's a good thing. But people freak out, going, "It's going to be a nuclear war." You're like, okay. No. Right, the people who have it the worst in the world are South Koreans because they've got this like psychotic twin brother that keeps threatening the world with its spider cannons, and South Korea just has to go, it's not a real thing, just chill out.
It's not us, guys.
It's not us. Guys, please don't confuse us with them.
Yeah, I know we're conjoined, but
I know that we kind of share the language, but trust us. Don't. We're so nice.
We're cool. Our national sport is StarCraft.
We're so kooky. We're so nice. We are the Zooey Deschanel of places. We're so nice. We have ukuleles coming out the Korea hole. But
remember Psy? Remember Gangnam Style?
You remember Old Boy? I love South Korea, by the way. South Korea films, one of my favourite. But yeah, North Korea is the best example for it because it's always like going, we're going to start Armageddon, and they never will because they can't. But when the UN goes, we are responding to these very harshly, why? Like, North Korea doesn't care that you've put sanctions on them because its people are starving already.
Syria is more of an issue
because people,
not a threat, but an issue.
No, not an issue, not a threat. But the people there, it's more of an issue because Syrians are running away. You can't leave North Korea.
Yeah.
Whereas Syrians can escape, and it's a genuine thing. If someone is in fear of their life, you do kind of have, no matter how bad they are, there could be like Syrian mad child raping Bible bears running away, but you would still be.
I like the callback.
Yeah, you'd still have to take them in because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
you could then put things in place to stop them being.
Yeah, but
baby child rapist bears.
The thing that this last was saying, like, she was like, "Oh, I would want if that was me, if I was Syrian, I would want to eventually go home."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "That's a good point." I don't I think if something like if the conditions in Scotland got that bad, where I was forced to leave, right?
I would not return.
I don't know. It depends on where it went.
I already feel quite let down by Scotland anyway, so no, because I think it's a real shame to like want to live your whole life where you're born.
Oh, I have no intention of living my whole life, but like,
good.
I would like the opportunity to come back.
Nah.
No?
No, not really.
You have absolutely no.
I'm having like real issues with my passport right now, and I can't wait to get this fucking thing, just so I can go and never come back.
But what will happen to get into no Mojo?
It'll burn. Like,
it'll burn.
So many North Korean crops. It will burn. But yeah, sanctions don't matter to people who are fanatically driven to kill somebody. They don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna take away your. It's like grounding the child who only like ever.
Stays inside.
It stays inside.
You're staying in your room. Brilliant.
Sweet.
We're taking away your basketball. Great. I don't give a fuck.
It's like, well, my parents used to do that. It's like, oh, you're grounded. You're like, cool.
Good. I hate going outside anyway.
So, well, it's like, sweet. I don't like anyone outside. Like, I'd much rather stay in.
The outside's the problem, Dad.
I'd much rather stay in and play, I don't know, like Star Fox Adventures.
I never liked Star Fox.
That was my fucking game.
I never liked Star Fox. I think I know why I don't like Star Fox though.
Why?
People animals. Although I like Sonic.
You don't like people animals.
That's a good point. I don't like people animals, yeah. And also Nintendo. Just not a big Nintendo fan. Do I hear my second bit of news?
Go on then.
Tupac Shakur faked his death. David Myers, who's a dead police officer, claims he was paid $1.5 million to stage his death, and Suge Knight was involved in it.
Ooh.
And it's the latest.
So
of
where is Tupac now?
Faked his death. He's just living life somewhere.
He's like a wanderer.
He's an Elvis.
He's a vagabond.
he's a ragamuffin. I like these stories.
Yeah,
I love whenever like new shit comes out about Tupac.
So, but why
he's
did
dead,
he wait all
man.
this
He's
time?
dead. Sorry?
Why? Yeah, exactly. But like, why would the cop possibly have waited all this time?
That's a good question because I asked that to his face when he was on his deathbed. I was like, "Fuck, why'd you keep it?" And he said, "I've lived with this lie for too long." And he said he was paid 1.5 million, so he's lived comfortably as a working policeman at the same time. And on his deathbed, he was like, "I can't keep it to myself," and he said he did.
Well, it'd be financial records.
Sorry?
There'd be financial records.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless he got it in cash, which possible because Suge Knight's a shady guy. So, but I like.
Yeah, but then he would have paid in cash for the past 20 years, so
that's all right.
he would have no bank records.
No, you'll have had bank records if he's a cop, though.
Yeah, but like the IRS would be able to.
It's utter bullshit.
It is utter bullshit, but
I like it.
Like, there's plenty
I like
of ways
it
of,
not because of the story. I like
Right.
the idea that David Myers, as he was dying, he was like, "You know what? I've never been in the news. I helped kill Tupac. I helped him fake his death because I want to do that on my deathbed."
I think that's very commendable. I think everyone should do that.
Everyone should claim they helped kill Tupac or fake Tupac's death.
Like as
That's
you're
just a big
aware
bullshit thing.
as you're aware
As
you're
you're about to
dying, just be like, you know what? I've never been in the news. Let's do it.
I breed humansies. And he goes, okay, because news now isn't actually news. It's just the weirdest thing on a chosen day or
well,
nonsense.
I mean, like you can like a clever thing about the news is like it doesn't necessarily like the news story there isn't Tupac's death was faked, right? It's that someone said
they did it. Yeah.
Right. So it's not even a story. It's not because like
it's not a story. The only reason it's on the news is because Tupac and the rumors of Tupac. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of think that's also slightly uplifting that 25 years later we're still kind of like, who killed Tupac?
Well, I mean, like because I could
know.
equally just to say like, oh, I've had sex with Eminem.
Right?
Right?
Was he good?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Is that why he's bow-legged now?
He took.
Him and Sean.
He cried.
Him and Sean both can only do barn dances.
He cried and wanted cuddled afterwards, but
I'm sick of
wouldn't
Eminem.
do it.
I know loads of people like Eminem. He's not a good rapper.
I think there are definitely much better rappers.
Well, here's the thing with Eminem is there's no growth to Eminem. He always raps about the same shit. He's like, my life was tough in Detroit, then I got rich, now I'm a fuck up, now I'm never gonna be to celebrate your shit. I got off drugs, I'm gonna do my new thing. His last 5 albums have all been, I beat drugs, I'm gonna be the new man. It's like, alright, is your new thing just saying how you're gonna be
really you should only be beating drugs once?
Well, yeah, you get 5, 6, 7 chances. I'm very big on
chances.
In
order to beat drugs, you only beat it once.
You only beat it once, then you're never doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
that's the idea of beating drugs.
That's why he then had an album called The Relapse, Mike. It's because he relapsed, and then he got out of it, and he did like the point is he never changes his thing. He raps with the same bullshit. Whereas like Jay-Z doesn't. He had when he was starting off, he was like quite a stereotypical rapper in many ways. It was all about hoes and drugs and that shit. And then the Blueprint comes out, which is really good. And then the Black Album, which is the best thing he's done, is about how he's realizing just how famous he is, just how badass he is, and he just raps about his current life where he's just kind of reminiscing about how
I'm pumping Beyonce.
You know, he doesn't. He the only bit he says that in is he says, "I got the hardest bitch in the game wearing my chain." And I'm like, "Oh, that's clever. That's quite cool." But
and then all the feminists, like all the militant feminists, were like, "That's sexist."
But that's why I like Kanye, because Kanye is really truthful to himself, and that he's never once claimed to be like dealing heroin or hanging out in the dopest of clubs. He's always all of his, because he's a dickhead.
It's just like,
Kanye's.
Yeah.
Have you ever actually listened to
Kanye?
All of his stuff is very like personal stuff, because he's a selfish person.
Yeah.
So his problems are stuff like in My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, where he's going, like, I've got too many women. I'm just too rich. They're his problems. So he's truthful about his problems. Whereas Lil Wayne will still rap about shooting down gangbangers. Like, you've never done that once, Lil Wayne. So why are you still claiming you do it daily? So I prefer a smarter rapper over a stupid one.
That's true.
But that's true in any music at all.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have rocked out to "Low" by Flo Rida.
That's
Not only did I was that shit my jam, I learned it on the guitar.
Oof. You could start an indie band tomorrow. And do you know what? I'm not even going to bother. There was like a really good Vice article that I read yesterday, and it was about the thing called Friends Fest, and it was a big festival celebrating Friends, the shitty, awful TV show. But the interview with the people was much more interesting.
Well, it would have been 20 years since it started.
I don't know, something like
that.
But he was interviewing the people going to it, and he was like, "Why'd you like it?" And it's the exact same reasons why they were going, "Oh, it's so relatable, and I just like it." And he'd go, "Yeah, but why do you like it?" And because, number one, they live, in order to live like any of those people, you'd have to be a millionaire. Those apartments are huge for New York.
Yeah.
And there's just 6 selfish people that do selfish things every day.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, Ross wouldn't be able to live on his own.
As an archaeologist. No, as a paleontologist. You'd be alright, but you wouldn't have something that nice.
Well, once he started being a professor.
Even then.
Yeah,
I don't think
it would be
he's
small,
squaring it.
because that flat is massive.
It's banging! Like a doctor! Because he's a doctor.
He is a doctor. Yeah.
But I hate that show. It's not relatable, and it made a really stupid thing where people pretend that's their life. It's like, oh, my friends are like that. No, you're not. All your friends are the exact same. You like getting pumped and fucked on the weekend on like half-pint tenants. Just admit it. Don't pretend that you're like living this crazy friends lifestyle. It doesn't exist. I didn't invent a coffee culture, which I hate. So that's what I was going to talk about. I'm just bummed out by it now, so I'm not going to bother.
Okay. I saw a story.
We were meant to talk about Bioshock. Fuck. Right.
We were. Okay,
yeah, but you go on.
Okay, well, I saw a story, right?
We've still got ages.
And 10 minutes.
10, 20 minutes. As long as we want it to, Mike.
I saw a story today about how selfies are now more deadly than sharks.
Yes, because people doing selfies are pricks.
That's true.
And they're doing them in the wrong areas.
Have you ever taken a selfie?
No.
Have you no?
I've never taken one. The closest I ever took to a selfie was I got a pair of leather jeans. And I put them on, and I was like, that ass is banging. So I photoed it, but like a selfie photo, but you can just see. You don't see my head.
You just see the cheeks.
No, you see my back, and you see the ass, and it's just dope. So I sent it to Alex, and she liked it. Never taken a selfie. I don't like to get my photo taken anyway.
Yeah.
But there's same thing. I'm not really interested in making myself the center of attention, because that's what a lot of selfies are.
Yeah.
And in really awful ways. Like, there was a Brooklyn fire a year ago, and there was these dickhead hipsters like clogging up the streets, taking selfies, and in the behind fire, and they'd be going hashtag not appropriate, hashtag funny selfie, and the police chiefs were having to stop their fire engines, get on like megaphones and go, get out the fucking way, we can't put this out because yous are clogging it. And there's other ones where
that's just something that shitheads would do.
Stupid shithead stuff. And there's other ones like during the Syrian thing going on right now, there were tourists selfieing during a gun battle in the background. You're going, what's wrong with you? Why
if you're doing that, like, you kind of deserve to be.
You do deserve to die. Just like the ones who are
just
in,
a stray bullet, not intentional.
No, I'm not saying that, like, because that'd be quite horrifying to see someone taking a selfie and like a guy just aiming down the barrel at them or the barrel at their head and them going, not appropriate, gun barrel, close to death, YOLO swag. That's like awful. But
you just know the BuzzFeed article would be like 5 people
top
who
10 funniest murder suicide selfies.
5 people who took selfies too dangerous.
Too dangerous for your mom.
12 reasons why.
No, it has to be odd. 13 reasons. But there's other ones like the plane crash ones are freaky. Like when there's people in the water, and they're photoing the plane on fire behind them, and they're in life rafts.
It's pretty weird.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Good. I hope sharks
I
capitalize on this.
I'm not a fan of getting my picture taken.
Yeah.
But when the exception is in nightclubs, I love photobombing.
Oh, I hate that. You're one of the worst people on
earth.
The only people worse than you are the people that take part in those photos. Because I hate them even more. The ones like, because the club photographer is the strangest creature alive.
Bit creepy like.
He's not quite good enough to do a wedding, but he's not allowed near kids anymore. So he has to do club photos. I'm saying it. EXO, just staff speedos. Come at me. You can.
One of our managers used to work at Exodus.
There's no smoke without napalm. Just saying.
Okay, your words, not mine.
I'm not throwing around accusations here, but Exodus.
The views expressed by Jordan in this podcast do not necessarily reflect.
They're mine and mine only, and I'm sticking by them at the end. I'm the Ku Klux Klan. They are wrong, but they don't give a fuck. They're just still going with that pattern.
Nobody has ever compared themselves to the KKK and gone and come out being more effective in their argument.
All right, fine. I'll do it the opposite way. I am like the Heaven's Gate cult. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm suiciding up this bitch. I'm going to the spaceship in the sky. There you go. You happy now?
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, what was I talking about?
You were going to talk about
club photographers, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Because then they catch people, and it's usually lads, and it's like, right, lads, photo. And the lad photo is my favourite thing because it's kind of a scrum, but none of them know how to play rugby. So all their arms are on top of each other, and they're all holding either Blue Wicked or a pint.
VK.
And if you've got a pint glass, you can't hold it on its side. You have to be like that. And then the photos, and they've always got the one dickhead that flips off a middle finger. And girls have got a stranger one because girls are essentially millipedes. So they all just go, photo time, and they just turn into a millipede of kettles because they all like contort their bodies. And I have no interest in doing that.
I've got a classic.
So what, do you just join the millipede?
I've got the classic club pose, right, which is arm around my mate, thumbs up, or drink, right? But I love photobombing, right? It's just the best. What you really like. Some people just like getting their head in over a shoulder or some shit. No, you've got to go like between people.
What, between thighs and shit?
That gets you kicked out.
Not an EXO, it doesn't.
But yeah, like, you just want your eyes.
Do you want to eventually
something like scarily menacing?
Do you eventually want to be on one of those things which goes creepiest photos you'll shit bricks what you see?
I'm waiting for the photos to come out on the Exodus Facebook page for last night, because he got the guy. I don't know if you've been in Exodus since it got done up.
I've not.
There's like a climbing frame now, right? And
just ruins everything.
I love. And he was like up it, right? And he was like
the photographer.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
It was
death defying. He was like
he's trying to get some good tasty shots, isn't he?
He was like 8 feet off the ground.
He was trying to get a shot of some baps. That's what he was trying to do.
Probably, but like everyone's in the crowd just like doing their own thing, and I'm standing there.
I really don't like photos of me. Everybody gets photoed best when they don't know they're being photoed anyway.
Like you candids.
You look your best when you've no idea what's being taken photo.
That's true. The best picture of me, I had no.
Best picture of me,
I had no.
All the best pictures of me are either actually done by a real photographer for one, or I've no idea that I'm being photographed. Just
Okay.
like when next year, just saying it now, Las Vegas Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, I'll be going up against Chris Weidman for the UFC middleweight championship, UFC 200. Well, I'm getting swole for it.
Wow.
I might
Wow.
go out of my way now to try and do that. The next year, I'm
Yeah.
going to be in a competitive mode to do it.
Okay, I have a going sort of news story, but then back to subreddits, right?
Okay.
A great subreddit is Not the Onion, right? You know the Onion news.
Yeah, I like The Onion.
New quotation news, but it's stupid news that could be from the Onion but isn't, right?
Oh, so it's
genuine,
real.
stupid
It's just
news.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So this one was an illegal immigrant in Manchester wants to be deported because he thinks the city sucks.
That's brilliant. Where do you send me to? Warzones, I don't give a fuck. You could just move city. It'd be great if like you just never thought of that. It's like, where do you live in Manchester? You can only ever go to different places if you're being deported or immigrating to there. I'm gonna have to be deported.
Yeah. But my question is, have you ever been to Manchester?
I've never been to England.
Have you not?
The only time I was
Never
when we
been
went
south
to
of the
France.
border?
I was on a coach. Oh, I went to Alton Towers. There you go. Been to Alton.
It's in just
Alton.
outside. Oh yeah, but that's just outside Blackpool, right?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. The only time I've been is to go to Alton Towers once, and when we were doing the Channel crossing when I was in high school to go to France. But and I didn't leave the bus. We just told them.
You were like, oh, that's a service station.
Yeah. That was it.
This is the M23 or whatever.
So no, I've never really.
No?
Oh no, that's not true. I've been to London, but I was there for literally 8 hours, and then I had to go back. I was there for an intern interview that then quickly became a, do you want to just work here? I'm like, yeah, totally. And then they were like, oh, so you have to move in, and I was like, oh, can I? It's a magazine. Can I not just write up home and email it to you? And they went, no, you'd have to come in. It was for Guest List. It's quite a good
Guest
magazine.
List.
I'm always hoping.
Never heard of it.
It's good. That's kind of like my really, really good backup plan. See if they've still got a job for me at the end of the year.
Please.
Please.
I'll do anything you want.
You wanted me 2 years ago. I'm even better looking now.
Do you remember me? Because I remember you.
Yeah, because I had to ask a friend of mine that lives in London what the hell the zone system is, because I was just expecting a dystopian future, and instead they went, no, you just get on this what's it called, the underground thing.
Yeah.
The train is like, go here to this bit, get off, just walk up, and then that was it. It was literally 8 hours. Wasn't that exciting?
Oh well.
I'd like to wander about London. I always get the feeling that every big city is really pumped up, but if you've never been to a big city before, you're going to infinitely find it more interesting.
That's true. Okay, my next question, Jordan, is who have you been sponsored by this week?
The one, the only, UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, and Joe Rogan. I've stopped listening to Kevin Smith. I've switched over to Joe Rogan.
Oh, really?
Does longer podcasts, 3 to 5 hours. They're always informative. Kevin Smith's funny as hell, but Joe Rogan, I learn stuff. Don't learn anything when I listen to Kevin.
Okay.
So UFC sponsored me, specifically Everlast gloves. If you want gloves that don't break your hands, use Everlast gloves.
Right.
Weird
who have
overdub there.
Who have I been sponsored by this week? This is a tough one. I want it to be good.
Should have thought about that.
I would like to express my sympathies for Stacey, and I hope that she gets better.
Oh, I forgot. Can you put in the annotations Laura's blogs and stuff for the Anthony Nolan
Yes,
stuff?
I can. Yeah.
I forgot to do that last time.
I will. Message me, text me, and forget to remember. But I think that about wraps us up for this week.
Who's you sponsored by?
That's what I said.
Stacey's deathly illness, which she's not going to recover from, and she's going to probably have to get a voice box.
Yeah.
I can't sponsor you.
No, I'm expressing my condolences.
She's not dying. She's got a sore throat.
She might be dead. What if she does die?
Well, God will sort
She'll
her out
have
then.
this.
Yeah.
She'll have this to
have this in hell. She can listen
commemorate. Right.
She can hang out with Princess Diana in hell. Listen to us.
Okay, so that has been episode 8 of Getting to Know Mojo.
Silk anniversary.
2-month anniversary. 8 weeks, motherfucker.
I love you, Mo Jones.
Cheers, guys. Have a good week.